Hey everybody, just wanted to do a quick video on attaching fuses and the different ways, methods you can connect two of them together, whether you're fusing from fuse to fuse or from fuse to canister shell or cake to cake, whatever it is. There's a number of connections that you need to make and across a number of different types of fuses. So from my experience, I'll share with you what I found to be the most successful and of the kind of the key things that you need when you're fusing. Success is without question the most important one. So of course you got a few options. You've got the little plastic clips that they sell, 4-ways, 3-ways, and just couplings. You've got tape, obviously, and you've got zip ties. So I've tried all three of those options and combinations of them, like the tape with the zip ties. I'm going to take the zip ties right off the table, right out of the gate. I've not had flawless success with zip ties. And the problem with that is if you click those things maybe one click too tight, you can actually put your fuse out, especially the slower visco fuses, or Canon fuses. So right there, right out the window. I'm not messing with something that could put a fuse out. I know a lot of people have success with them. That's awesome. Not saying that not to do it. If you're having success with it, I'm just telling you from my experience, I've had that issue. Plastic clips, well, there's a financial component involved there. You got to buy them, and that's just one more thing you have to have. They're one and done. I found them to be kind of a pain. They do work, but I guess if you had a really small show and you were allergic to tape, I guess that'd be the way to go. But beyond that, I couldn't find a good reason for it. When we look at tapes, tape is what I use. Masking tape is the most popular option. I do still use some of this blue tape, painter's tape, but I'll explain to you why I don't use it for the fusing. So this is, everybody's seen this, a typical blue painter's tape from 3M or Scotch. The reason this stuff isn't great is the holding power is, or the adhesion is based on, being able to peel off whatever it's attached to without damaging it. So what you find when it comes to wiring fireworks, if you're using this right before a show, you're not going to have a problem. It'll be fine. If you're setting this up days, weeks, or in my case, months ahead of time, my fireworks will sit all fused, ready to go as early as 2 months out from the 4th of July because we have so much other stuff I need to get ready for the party. I like to get my fireworks done so I can move my brain onto something different and just know that this is ready to fire. So the problem with this stuff is moisture gets to it and it loosens up, or just time gets to it and it loosens it up because the adhesion is not great. So I do not recommend using your blue painter's tape. Your standard masking tape, it's cheap. It actually has slightly better adhesion than the blue painter's tape. But it is really terrible when it comes to any type of moisture. So I've used this stuff, set a show up in the field in the morning to fire at night, and just the morning dew that's on the grass as that's kind of burning off in the morning, the moisture that passes through this causes it to peel up a little bit and let go. Still better than the blue painter's tape for dry adhesion, but when it comes to moisture, this stuff, you just cannot count on it. It turns into that gooey mess and slides off. The best tape I have found is what I use now. This is Scotch 3M, and this is made for concrete and masonry. And the beautiful thing about it is concrete masonry absorbs moisture. This tape is designed to handle that moisture, and the adhesion that's on there deals with moisture very well. It is much stronger of an adhesion than your blue painter's tape. It is even stronger than your standard masking tape because, again, it's meant to go onto brick and wall block, stuff like that. This stuff's great. I buy 1.5 inch wide tape because I find that I actually tear it this way and then I roll that way. Very easy to work with, easy to tear. You don't need any tools. It's masking tape, it holds up very well for a very, very, very long time with absolutely no degradation and the connection that it's making. So, doing a little bit of fusing now. Yeah, I'm running out of space up here though, real quick. So what you're seeing here is a couple of different racks that I break these out into sections, and these are all on electronic remote detonators. These are what boost up my show at certain parts based on the music. So all I do is fuse it right in. The only things you really have to worry about, not even worry about, because honestly you can do it wrong and still fire just fine, have the fuses pointed the way the flame is coming in. It just helps to make a solid ignition. If this is on backwards, will it still ignite? Yep, most of the time it will. In fact, pretty much all the time it will. So maybe that isn't necessary, but I always make sure that I keep a smooth chain. If nothing else, what it helps you do is keeps your timing consistent. That's down to the millisecond, and I'm not that precise, but if you're looking for another reason to do it this way, you just do it all the same way so that your timing is correct in your spacing. On a rack like this where I'm firing this bank separate from this bank and separate from that bank all the way down, the only other important thing to do is some sort of spark arresting or spark prevention to keep you from pre-igniting the other side. So here's another one that this will fire off. I think there's 9 or 8 or 9 in a row here on perfect fuse. So it's about a little less than 20 seconds. It'll just boom, 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 boom. So I'll take the blue painter's tape because it's the wider stuff, and I'll just throw a patch over each one of those fuses. You do have some fuses exposed, obviously, as they go down into the mortar itself, but I haven't had an issue with that catching. I have had an issue with your mainline fuse being caught by either the sparks coming off of this fuse or obviously the lift charge as these come out. So if you're really paranoid about it, or you have a whole big rack like I will here, I may actually tape over this completely or use aluminum foil. I just hate doing that stuff because it creates more of a mess to clean up when you're done, but it beats sending off a whole rack. And if you look at one of my videos, I think it was 2014, where this entire rack, which was full of Excaliburs at one time, it literally all went off in 1 second because I had that same thing, which not an unsafe thing, but a huge waste of money. It was what is it? I think 2 cases of Excaliburs instantly. Made a big bang, looked awesome, had nothing to do with the music that was playing at the time, and it was a waste of money. So some sort of spark prevention is never a bad idea when you're dealing with racks. So I think that's about it. I just wanted to talk about a little bit about the cheapest and the most effective thing I've found dependable for connecting your fuses. So everybody have a great day.